Welcome back, boys and girls, and today's another beautiful day in Virginia, but it's getting a little hot. And today I want to introduce you to my favorite toy, Browning Bookmark in 22 long rifle. Now this is a very good shooter and I don't treat it like a toy. Okay, this Browning Bookmark Challenge is actually one of my favorite bookmark pistol, and I think they're the best looking, and the weight and the length I think is actually perfect. Now it weighs 25 ounces, so that's what 1 pound and 9 ounces, and overall length with the chamber closed is 9.5 inches. And the reason that I have the chamber open is because I just cleaned my gun and I don't want to dry fire it, because you're not supposed to dry fire rim fires. The reason being is that most other ammunition, they have a primer in the center, and that's where the hammer is hitting it. But with the rim fire, it doesn't have a primer in the middle. It actually has a rim that overlaps the chamber, and the hammer or the pin hits the rim right here. And if you look at it, I don't know if you could see this, if you look at it very carefully, you could see that, can you see it? Yeah, I think you can. Right on the top center of the chamber has a notch because the pin's been hitting on it. So I try not to dry fire it if I don't have to. So I only dry fire once after I clean the gun, and it still left that little notch there. And so if you do it enough, it will damage the chamber, and you don't want to damage the chamber. So anyway, you're not supposed to dry fire it. And it came with, the chamber is aluminum alloy for the lightweight and its strength. And it's all matte blue finish. And the barrel is 5.5 inch long, and it came with the adjustable rear sight and the front black sight. Now, I replaced the rear sight with a scope mount so I could have the red dot on it. And as I was getting older and my eyes was getting old, and I was having a hard time seeing the front sight, so I put a white paint on it, and I also put a white paint in the rear sight too. But even that wasn't helping much, so I ended up putting a red dot scope on it, and now which I'm doing much better. But anyway, that's what it came with. But I actually replaced it again with a scope mount, and that's from Browning. And I believe that cost me like 40 bucks. And I put a true glow, a red dot scope on it, and it comes with a green light and the red light, and it's got power from 1 to 5 on both colors. And I believe I paid like 40 bucks for the scope. So so that's that. And it came with a really nice walnut grip with a checkering on it, and this used to have a really well-defined checkering. But when I first bought this, I was shooting a lot, and I started seeing the wearing sign where I was grabbing it. So I actually put a 5 coat on top of that. So it kept really nice. I had this pistol for over 10 years now, and it looks very nice, and it's got a nice marker on it. And the trigger, they say, is 5 pounds, and it came with a gold plated trigger, so that also looks very nice. Now I want to just kind of show you what the trigger feels like. So I'm going to close the chamber, and here we go. Now it has a very small drag, and it's got a very crisp, pull. So I'm happy with the trigger, and it actually feels like 5 pounds. Now that's for the magazine release. Now one thing I really like about this magazine is that you could pull this handle down as you feed your 22s, and this holds 10 rounds, so it's really easy fitting, and this works really well. Now that's for the safety. Now I don't like where the safety is. That's really in an awkward position. It's really hard to put in safety or fire while you're holding it, so you need 2 hands to work it. Now that's for the chamber release, as you've seen. And as I mentioned, this is my favorite toy. It shoots really well. And that's it. MSRP on this pistol is $429, and I think about 11 years ago, I think I paid a little bit over $300 for it. And with the red dot scope and the scope mount, probably cost me a little bit over $400 for everything. And for me, that's a very fair deal. And honestly, I haven't met any Browning that I didn't like yet. Now let's hit the range and see what she can do. Today I'll be shooting Federal target grade 22 long rifle. Okay, I'm gonna take 5 shots at 25 yards on the middle target, left middle target of left target. Here he goes. That's pretty good shooting. That is the first 5-shot group. At 25 yards, I'm gonna go for the second 5-shot group. I'll be shooting the right target of the middle left target. I grew up shooting rifles, so I'm much better with rifles, but this is at 25 yards with 22 Browning. There's the first 5-shot group. This is the second 5-shot group. 50 yards is a little stretch for 22 handgun. I'm shooting at the left middle target. Let's see. I'll be going for the second group at 50 yards in the middle, right there. I think I pulled the last shot. Okay, this is at 50 yards. That's how we did. Now that's with the Browning. First 5-shot group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that was the second shot group. I knew I put the last one is up there. Okay, now I'm gonna try 10 rapid firing. Make sure it doesn't have any hiccups. All right, here we goes. Yep, that was 10. Okay, the old timer at the range was against me rapid firing. What can we all just get along? Here are the targets from 25 yards. And I figured if I could get all 5 shots within this 4-inch target, I'd be happy, but I did a little better than I thought. This is first 5 shot, and you could see this one has got 2 holes in there. So this right here is about 1.5 inch group, which is pretty decent. And on the second target, I pull one, and if we count just a 4 shot, that's a little bit more than a 1.5. And if I count the one that I pull, we're looking at about 2.75. So it's still not bad. Now, the red dot scope that I have on that Browning is that it's a cheaper red dot. So the red dot was kind of big and blurred, so it covers about 2 inches of the center target. So considering that, I think I did pretty good. Here are the targets from 50 yards, and I figure if I could get all 5 shots within 6-inch target, I'd be happy. And again, I think I did a little bit better than I thought. Now, this is the first 5-shot group, and if you look at it, that's about 3.5 inch group. And this is the second shot group. I knew I pulled the last one, so it's up there. So if you look at this one, we're looking about 4-inch group, and if you count the one that I pull, it's about 4.5 inch group. So again, I consider this pretty good. And now the red dot actually covered the whole target at 50 yards. So it wasn't precise shooting, but again, I'm only shooting 22, and I don't hunt with this. I just shoot it for fun, so I'm okay with it. I call my Browning 007 because it's got that look like a James Bond. It looks very classic. It balances really well. The barrel, I think, is a perfect length. It shoots really well. But for some crazy reason, the Browning discontinued this model. What's up? And lastly, like always, thank God for what you have, enjoy your life with what you got, but mostly remember, guns are not toys. Treat every gun with the respect and the caution it deserves. See ya.